Welcome to the Beasts of the NFC East podcast. I am your host, Sean Gnitzcavich, with my co-host, Jeremy Goode. Week 1 is coming up. We are stoked. We have an awesome episode for you. We're going to be talking about key players for the season. We're going to be going over each Week 1 matchup, and then we're going to end up the show with a all NFC East fantasy draft, which me and Jeremy will be paying attention to for the remainder of the season. See who picks the best NFC East players, who gets stuck with Daniel Jones. Jeremy Goode, what is good?
I'm excited. Day 1 of the NFL season. It's just a different time of year, Sean. I mean, fall, you have the different fall drinks, the different weather. I think fall is the best season of them all. You have NFL football. You know,
yeah, dude. Fall is just starting new. People are going back to school. I have high hopes for the New York Football Giants. I'm drinking pumpkin spice lattes. My house looks like Beetlejuice out there already. I literally Halloween lights. Coral just went all out, but that's okay because she got me these really nice Giants gear. So she gets spooky. I get depressed because the Giants fail me. But maybe that might not happen. But let's. I don't know if you're ready to dive into this. The Eagles are. Which I'm a little disappointed that it's Friday. I guess you get to focus on it, but
me too.
But we will we'll go into each matchup, and then we'll also go into key players for the year, who we're looking for, who we think will be kind of weaknesses or strengths throughout the year, players that we're watching for, and I guess we'll start with the first game of the week, man, and that is your Philadelphia Eagles playing the Green Bay Packers in Brazil.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of, Jeremy?
It's a tough one. It sucks because it's a quote-unquote home game for the Eagles, even though it's not really a home game.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. It's a home game in Brazil.
Green Bay is a good team. They are tricky. I think if the NFL did the Eagles any service whatsoever, they would have scheduled a quote-unquote easier game than the Packers. They did not, of course. So here we are. It's a good matchup. You have two interesting teams. Two young, good quarterbacks, offenses that have a lot of talent on each side, two head coaches, at least one on Green Bay, who is, I think, an offensive guru, quote unquote, in LaFleur. And I think Sirianni and
Kellen Moore.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Kellen Moore.
And Kellen Moore, thank you. Will be. We'll have an interesting offensive game plan for the season too, with all the talent around Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts himself. So it's a good Friday night matchup for the average, NFL fan. It'll be stressful for those in Philadelphia, but it's a good one for sure. The NFL, from a viewing perspective, they definitely drilled it, I think, in this matchup for game 2 of the season, following the Thursday night game tonight with Baltimore, Kansas City.
I know. I am I cannot believe that it's already here. I am so excited.
Yeah.
So the Eagles are the favorites at -2. I mean, technically they're not even home, but I guess I don't know. I don't think that's factored in there, the home field advantage. It's kind of weird, the whole Brazil thing. The players can't even leave their hotels. It's hard traveling for the first game of the season too.
Yes.
I think this is going to be very interesting to see how the dynamic between what I'm really excited about, but not really, is seeing the dynamic of Saquon Barkley in that offense. Because that's the biggest key change from last season. Obviously, you lose Jason Kelce, one of the best centers in the league. Really surprising for me, at least, that Mekhi Becton overtook Tyler Steen. How do you feel about that? And do you think that's going to be a season-long thing? His Mekhi Becton, I mean, obviously he's battled with health and stuff, but the fact that he won the starting guard spot when he was drafted to play tackle. How do you feel about that matchup? Do you feel
mentioned the health,
confident with that line?
The health thing with Beckham. I think that's going to be here to stay as long as Beckham's healthy. Steen was hurt during training camp here and there, which didn't help. When he was available, he just didn't look that good. I think it's Beckham's job right now to stay. So it's a pretty big offensive line with Beckham in his guard, and then you've Landon on the other side, who's also pretty massive. So yeah, that looks like the line, and we'll see how that functions with the quarterback, running back, and receivers. It's different. It's different for the Eagles. Lots different. They have a paid running back that they haven't had for a while. They have relatively newish offensive line, more or less, with a few new
Yeah.
pieces. It's yeah, we'll see how it meshes game one.
And also, I saw. I don't know if this is the unofficial depth chart. I'm assuming it is, but they have Isaiah Rogers starting on the outside with Quinion Mitchell in the slot. Cooper DeJean backing up Quinion. Is that is that like
Yes.
you think
So
Isaiah Rogers is going to be purely like getting what like 90% of the snaps at starting cornerback too?
most likely early on in the Eagles' base defense, Quinion Mitchell is the second uh, cornerback, which means that he would be the second cornerback outside if they were just starting two cornerbacks with Darius Slay. Now the
Okay.
Eagles don't run base defense that much. They always have um, usually a third cornerback or whatever in there. So yes, this looks like Slay and Rogers as your outsides and Quinion Mitchell as your inside corner, which I like. I think that at least you're getting the talent on the field immediately, which I think
Yeah.
is needed for the Eagles because they have had a lot of early round picks over the last few years who do not play, and that's depth thing. They've had a lot of talent that has been playing before them, and you can quote unquote can afford to have these guys sit, but at the same time, I think it hurts on their growth. I think N'Kobe Dean needed to get some more playing time as a rookie. I think the same thing with Nolan Smith last year. It didn't happen.
Hmm.
I'm glad they're going to be able to get some of the younger guys on immediately this year, it seems like.
Yeah. So some of the matchups that I'm like, the Packers have all of these hodgepodge of like great receivers. I mean, even
Yes.
Dontavian Wicks is like their wide receiver 4, but
Yeah.
like Jaden Reed, that's going to be a really fun matchup to see Jaden Reed versus Quinion if Quinion's in the slot because he's speedy. I don't even really know what to expect from this Packers team. Like I don't because they're just so multiple with all their wide receivers. I will tell you one thing. I think Josh Jacobs is going to run it down your throats, and that's what I'm curious to see how your linebacking core has
Yeah.
uh, has improved and how they're going to handle Josh Jacobs, who's still a beast. I have him in like every single fantasy league that I can get him in because I think he's just going to take over. He's going to AJ Dillon's out for the year.
Yep.
Marshawn Lloyd has been like injury prone. I know
Rookie.
he's like an exciting prospect as a rookie. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so I think that like that's something that I think that the Packers are going to try to control is just shoving it down your throat with Josh Jacobs, a whole bunch of Josh Jacobs down your throat, and then you
It's a
got
good.
it's a fun team, man, and
Yeah.
it's an exciting team. Like I'm going to be watching a lot of Packers because my lovely girlfriend is a diehard cheesehead. So it's cool that I get to root for the Packers to beat your Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow. But what are you, key matchups that you're looking for and some predictions? Maybe like who do you think? You think this is an AJ Brown game? You think Jahan Dotson is going to be featured a lot? You think Devonta Smith?
Yeah.
Take it away. What are you feeling here?
Well, I do agree with your point about running against the Eagles. The Eagles don't have Fletcher Cox anymore. It comes down to Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis against the run. I have confidence in them, but it'll be interesting because Josh Jacobs is a very established running back, roll tide, a very good, just very good running back over the last few years too. Of course, when healthy. So, and then second level, Devin White didn't make the trip to Brazil. He has an ankle injury. N'Kobe Dean will take over that spot, although the Eagles also said N'Kobe Dean beat out Devin White, which is interesting. But so there, yeah, it's first and second level to defend the run. I think if the Eagles do it, they'll have a lot of success ultimately at the end of the game. Yeah, when you have receivers like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert, Saquon even in the backfield. I think this is a game where you sort of see the Eagles keeping Green Bay honest. They go
Mm-hmm.
to guys who are open, they go through the progressions. I think that's where Kellen Moore comes into play in writing up these plays that allow Jalen to go through progressions that can have AJ take a little bit of time, have Devontae take a little bit of time in their routes. Now, I don't think they will because they're just that good, but he's going to have options to throw to, and I think it's going to be a balanced offensive game with a lot of receiving yards and a lot of rushing yards too for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I panicked and I took Jalen Hurts a little early in one of my fantasy leagues, but like Jalen Hurts going into last season was expected to
Yes.
be like an MVP candidate. He was an MVP candidate 2 years ago. People forget like he was hurt last year, and now he's
Yes.
essentially fully healthy coming to this year. Yeah, kind of a new reshuffled offensive line, but I mean probably the best skill position group in the entire NFL,
Ever.
battling with the Texans.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever,
you
probably.
think ever? You think
I've
ever?
never seen. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously early to
I
say
don't
ever,
know,
but
dude. I
like
really like the
they
Texans too.
they really. So I mean, I feel bad for guys like Donovan McNabb, Carson Wentz, who like never had good receivers, and now we have this year, and I'm happy with this team. But it's wild how much they compensated for the offense, which is great. But yeah, it's and I will say too, if you have Jalen for fantasy, even his bad years are really good for fantasy. So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and we'll get into that draft later. But yeah, no, I'm like, I'm a little like Kellen Moore is gonna have to have a full down meltdown for this offense not to work. Like you just have so many
Yes.
options. Even Jahan Dotson being like, which is just nuts that you guys. I don't know why the Commanders like. It's not like they're terribly deep at receiver. I didn't hear great things coming out of camp about Luke McCaffrey, even though it seems like he is slotted as a starter right now over De'Ami
Yeah.
Brown and Noah Brown, all the Browns. But I'm I mean Jahan Dotson, like who cares? Like if he has like a sub 500 receiving yard season, it's not going to kill you. But having that
Right.
as another option
I
is just
it's
insane.
that's my point. When people ask me like what I think Dotson's going to do in this offense, I've told people like the numbers might be down, but just his ability to keep people honest, having all these options for the Eagles to quote unquote keep the defense honest. You can't double AJ, you can't double Devontae. You have to play this team straight up, and as long as all of them are on the field at the same time, it's just going to be tough to keep them in coverage. And
Yeah,
I think that's where the value comes in for trading like a guy like Dotson. Do you need him to get past 600 yards receiving, 7, 8 touchdowns? No, but just his ability on the field to be a decoy even
yeah,
is just will be plentiful.
yeah. And he showed his ability to separate. Like that was his big thing.
Yeah,
That's why I really loved him going into last year. And I think he suffered with Sam Howell just in that whole disaster
yep.
that was the Washington Commanders
Had
last
some
year. But
drops, but correct. I've always said that drops are correctable, and
yeah, and that
yeah,
was never really an issue with him prior to that. I think, and
true.
like
He
I
was
said, he
always a
has that
catch.
separation. Yeah, I mean that's why he was a
Yeah.
first round pick. The fact that AJ Brown was a second round pick, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but the fact that you have like, you know, all these like your entire skill position group is first and second round picks with Dallas Goedert too. Like,
Yeah.
man, you and players that are good. I'm
Yeah.
man, must feel good. All right, so
I mean, I love it.
let's get into the predictions. I think
Yes.
we've gotten pretty deep into this Eagles game. So, like I said, the Eagles are -2 at home in Brazil. What are your thoughts here? You got score predictions. I think we'll both pick like one. We'll get a little bit degenerate because I know I'm a gambling man. I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I think
I've
I
dabbled
will
with it
say
a
it right
few
now.
times. Yes.
I mean, a -2 is like that's just a pick 'em.
Yes.
I
I think
hate
you're right on that.
it. Kills me to say this, but I don't think the Packers are going to be prepared for this new look Kellen Moore offense with all these weapons. I think they have a great defense. I think this is going to be a shootout. Like it's one of the highest over-unders for the week at 49. I'm going to go, I hate this. Eagles -2, and I would also go the over 49 points because I think that this is going to be a shootout. I think both defenses have great pieces, but I think there's two very overpowered offenses, and I think they're going to come out explosive. Jeremy?
I'll go over. I have Eagles covering -2. I think my score prediction would be 33-27, 33-28, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hits it. I mean, it's going to be, it has to be a high score game, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think this is
I
going to
think
be,
so.
I mean, maybe like somebody goes up 2 touchdowns at some point, but I feel like it's going to be neck and neck. That's what I'm expecting. I think that this Packers team is going to be really good this year too. So
Yeah, Green Bay also has an advantage. They've had their coaching staff intact for a few years now, which is an advantage when you're going up against a team that has their same head coach but different coordinators, in my opinion, for the first time.
yeah. And then also, we're just going to go for the season long here. The Eagles are at 10.5 wins. I'm going to have to go over. I'm going over on that.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that is like, unless everything goes wrong. Obviously, we're looking at like all health intact. I don't see the Eagles getting less than 10 wins, and I think 11 is just manageable.
Yeah, that's the same way I was going to approach it. Obviously, you have to imply that this is a healthy team, of course. It changes everything if not. But
Yeah.
if we think it is, what did we think it is? 11 on the low end, 14 on the high end, but probably closer to 13. So you're looking at that 11 to 13 range. I agree with the way you're thinking about that. Yep.
All right. Do you want to get into anything else before we move on to one of the more exciting matches of the week? Anything else with your Philadelphia Eagles?
We can move on.
All right. The next game on the docket just so happens to be the New York Football Giants versus the Minnesota Vikings at home, 100th anniversary season, wearing our Century Red uniforms that the internet loves so much. I don't know why we're only wearing them one time. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. Century Reds. The Giants are underdogs at home against Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings.
That should be the title of this podcast.
Underdogs at home against Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. It's honestly like it's unreal.
Yeah.
Dude, Jordan Addison, I don't even think like he's still dealing with like injury, DUI stuff. Hawkinson's obviously not going to be back, I don't think, until like Thanksgiving, if that, because he tore his leg up last year at the end of the season. They lose Danielle Hunter too. Like I don't know. I don't see. I guess like the internet really hates Daniel Jones, and they also everybody's still crapping on the O-line. I think this is the best O-line the New York Giants have rolled out with Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I think this is hands down the best receiving core. Yes, we lose Saquon Barkley, and that is a big loss. But I think that we have Devin Singletary. I'm very happy with him as just an efficient, like hard nose. Get in, like he's not as explosive as Saquon Barkley, but he'll get you those 3-4 yards. He's consistent that way. Let's break it down here. Also, the Giants signed Adoree Jackson, which I am so happy for, because the biggest fear with this New York Football Giants team, like obviously we lost Saquon Barkley, but our secondary is young, it's raw. Relying on Deontay Banks as a second-year corner to be your CB1, and then Cordell Flott or Nick McLeod as your CB2, no bueno. So at least we got Adoree Jackson. We signed him for like a minimum, I think it was like $1.75 million guaranteed. He gets $250,000 per game he plays, and he has all these incentives.
Prove it deal.
Yeah, it's a prove it deal.
I've never had an issue with Adoree Jackson either. He is what he is.
He was trash last year. I'm not gonna lie. He had a really down year.
But a lot of people were. I think when you don't have a lot of talent around you, too, it doesn't help. But you're not wrong. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, and I think also our season fell to shit week one, and I think and even dude, we were scoreless through the first 6 quarters. I think we were outscored 60-0 in the first 6 quarters of last season. And Adoree Jackson, he wasn't a willing tackler last season. I think that he made a lot of business moves, trying to be healthy for this upcoming contract. And I think he saw, since he played like garbage, nobody wanted him. So I think now he has a little bit more incentive. Also, half of his contract, if he wants to make any money, is incentive. So I know Jordan Rodon was talking about maybe Nick McLeod should start at CB2 because he looked better in limited snaps last season. I think that's garbage. I think that Adoree Jackson should even just hit the ground running. He's played under Shane Bowen in Tennessee. Shane Bowen obviously liked him enough to sign off on him being the CB2 in this offense. But yeah, let's get into it. I think the key things that I'm looking for in this New York Giants, even though Brian Daboll now is calling the plays, it's a healthy Daniel Jones. How's he going to operate? Is he going to run the ball like he did 2 years ago in our playoff run and be more mobile? I hope so. He looked like that in preseason, like he was willing to run in the preseason. I want to see how our offensive line holds up against Brian Flores, who is like a multiple blitz. Like he's going to be scheming up everything to try to destroy Daniel Jones. They got rid of Danielle Hunter, but they have Andrew Van Ginkel, who decapitated Daniel Jones last year against the Dolphins. And they also have Jonathan Greenard, who I think is a very underrated defensive end who came from the Texans.
I agree. Yep.
They also signed Stephon Gilmore. So that was interesting. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm curious to see how this offensive line holds up. John Michael Schmitz kind of struggled in the preseason too, but I think now he'll have, two staples at guards around him. Hopefully Greg Van Roten stays healthy. Hopefully John Runyon is as advertised as a pass blocker, helps out with John Michael Schmitz. And Jermaine Illuminor seems to be steady at right tackle. I'm really happy about that. Evan Neal, I wish we took a page out of your book with the Eagles and tried moving him at guard and working him in at guard, but I guess Brian Daboll's happy with him as an offensive tackle backup. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I think this is going to be a Malik game. Malik says he wants he's hungry for that touchdown. I feel like we're going to be force feeding Malik. I think this is going to be unveiling our new weapon. The entire offense, the face of this offense now is Malik Neighbors. With Saquon Barkley gone, Devin Singletary isn't going to be the offensive weapon winning our games like we had Saquon as a reliable back. It's going to be a lot more deep, explosive passes. That's what's been advertised by Brian Daboll. I hope that's true. But yeah, and then our defense, I'm curious to see how our secondary holds up against kind of a weaker receiving core with just Justin Jefferson in there, but Justin Jefferson is still probably the best wide receiver in the league. I don't care if it's Sam Darnold or not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see, do you think Sam Darnold's do you think he's going to have one of those resurgent careers in this one year with the Vikings? How do you feel about Darnold?
No, I don't think Sam Darnold's good. I think he's had plenty of chances, and he's just looked dreadful the last few years. It's another chance, of course, in Minnesota, so I guess you have to consider something. But he is just not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, and I don't expect much from him.
Yeah. And hopefully Brian Burns, our new acquisition, can have him seeing ghosts. I actually, when I met up and bartended for that PFF event with the host, he hates Brian Burns. He hates the Giants, essentially. He thinks that Brian Burns is overrated. And I was like, hey, if Brian Burns gets 16 sacks, you got to name drop our podcast on your podcast. And he's like, oh, 6. I don't know why I picked 16, dude. He hasn't had more than 12 and a half. Yeah, I don't know. You know what, dude? I was feeling really confident. I don't think Brian Burns is going to have 6. If he does, dude, who knows, man? Who knows? But we'll see. But I'm excited. Dexter Lawrence owned Garrett Bradbury in the playoff game. He's an undersized center, so I hope that Dexter Lawrence makes him. I could see him having a sack this game. That's what I'm really excited about this season is this pass rush. With a weak secondary, our pass rush needs to be improved. Kayvon Thibodeau needs to be a consistent, not just getting 10 sacks. He needs to be getting pressures every single snap. He has to be. And this is year 3 for him too, so he really needs to explode. He can't just be
obviously
who lucked into a 10 sack season,
Obviously, yeah, like you said, the good ends have to get the numbers too in sacks. Don't get me wrong, but it really is about pressure. It's about setting your team up for success. It's about getting to the quarterback so someone else can get a sack if you're not able to, if you're being double teamed. It's about getting to the quarterback so you can strip the ball, knock the ball out, or have someone on the blind side on the other side strip it or whatever, cause a deflection interception or just a bad throw interception go the other way. Pressures lead to turnovers. and it's one of the more underappreciated quote unquote stats, I think,
Yeah.
for defensive players, defensive line players for sure.
And we also have a couple ball hawks, and our cornerbacks are not. Like Adoree Jackson, who's been a starter in the league, he's not really an interception guy. Deontay
Right.
Banks, even not really an interception guy, more of a coverage guy. But our safeties, we have two ball hawking safeties, and Tyler Nubin, who I'm really excited about. He kind of was dealing with injuries throughout preseason, so I feel like the hype is kind of leveled
Games.
off for them.
Yeah.
Like when you don't see somebody in the preseason, it's like, all this hype. But I think Tyler
Yeah.
Nubin is going to have a really great rookie season. And then also Dane Belton, who did have a good preseason and
Right.
should be rotating in there because Shane Bowen likes to have those three safeties. So I think with Pinnock, Nubin, and Dane Belton, I know that we lost McKinney, but in all honesty, I'm not like that's less of a weakness. And then retaining Adoree Jackson, like I don't think our team is as bad as everybody says. The over/under is at 6.5. If
Right.
Daniel Jones can stay healthy and looks more like his 2022 self, but it's also forcing like 2022 in terms of being able to run, being mobile, but be more explosive like Brian Dable wants. I mean, 6.5. I'm punching that over. I don't know about you, but if all health remains, I think
Yeah.
that everybody's shitting on the Giants. I'm decked out. I'm bleeding blue. I think best O line that Daniel Jones have ever had. The best wide receiver. Like we haven't had 1,000-yard receiver since Odell. Like
Yeah.
this is finally Daniel Jones has a number one receiver in Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors is going to go off this year. I could see him having 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, I mean, I could see him having. I think he's going to be force fed. I think he's going to have 9, 10 targets a game. He's going to be the face of this offense. And obviously sprinkle in Jalen Hyatt there, sprinkle in Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson, and even Theo Johnson. I'm excited about Theo Johnson too, but I think
I
Malik
think
Neighbors is going to be the face of this offense.
I think the Giants. I was going to say, I think the Giants are a better team than last year for sure. And
Mhm.
and I say this thinking last year that the Giants wouldn't be as good as the year before, as we've discussed, because I don't think they had anywhere. I think the year before that, when they went to the playoffs, there wasn't much that they could do. It's sort they were too early to the party, and I sort of sensed it like they didn't really get that much better the next year, and it
It
was
was
just kind of a
shocking, yeah.
disaster.
Yeah.
This year, I think they could be competitive in a lot of games. I think they can win a lot of late games, possibly win some ugly games. I think that would get them over 6.5 for sure. So yeah, I can see them 7-10, 8-9, maybe if they you know, get some favorable matchups, some injuries on other teams. But yeah, they I think they could be more feisty than last year, and I think they're better team than last year too. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the Giants have any playoff hopes, which I mean, call me a homer. I always believe I'm optimistic. Like if you're a Giants fan and you think that there's no chance that we're making the playoffs, I get it.
you're a
I get it.
realist. Yes.
Maybe a realist, but there's a chance. There's always a chance, dude. I didn't expect when I saw Daniel Jones throw an interception week 1 against the Tennessee Titans in 2022. I was like, oh my god, this like we are awful. And then we went on to win a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings, who are,
Right.
I mean, our team from 2 years ago who won that playoff game, I think has improved. The Vikings who lost that playoff game, I think are much worse. I mean,
Oh
much
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
so. The fact that we are underdogs at home in our century red uniforms, I mean, oh my
Yeah.
God. I'll
It's
tell you what,
daunting.
dude. I've had a bet queued up for this entire week. I'm just ready to punch it. I mean, I'm going Giants money line, easy, dude, at plus 105. The over is set at 41. I could see it. I think that the Giants, first off, our secondary sucks still. Like, I'm still not happy with that. So I think that we're going to have to fight. I would go over on that, but I'm going Giants money line, not even going to touch the over because, that's streaky. Malik Neighbors over 60 receiving yards and Daniel Jones over 25 rushing yards. Punch it.
Wow.
Punch it. Punch it. That's my degeneracy
What's
right there.
What's the line in this game?
Giants +2 at home. And our Century Reds, man. Our Century Reds. Do
I'll
you
take
think
the
that's why
Giants.
we're underdogs is because of our
Yes,
uniforms?
I'll take the Giants +2.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go under, and I think I'm going to go under.
Okay. Fair.
Oh, I don't love it. But I don't love it. Um,
That's fair.
I think the Giants win outright too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
I
think
like
Darnold's just so bad. I don't know. He's just so
that's
bad.
what dude. I really it blows my mind, and maybe I'm just a homer, but like this seems like bet the Giants. Like I can't believe that we're underdogs.
Yeah,
This is our like 100th anniversary season at home. Like big things. Malik Neighbors, welcome to New York. I think Malik Neighbors touchdown too. Like I think the Giants are going to try to get that, and unless like it's just garbage. Like I think that the Giants are going to try to get Malik in the end zone for this to start this season, and we need to win this game. Like this is a winnable game. Next week is the Commanders, and we have the Browns and the Cowboys. So this is a must win to set the tone for the season. And like first game of the season, I would say this is a must win because if we don't win this, like this is like one of the easiest games I think on our schedule with Sam
yeah,
Darnold at quarterback. So
yeah.
that's me. Anything else you want to get into with this Giants game before we move on to a
I
very
don't think so.
exciting?
There would be something though. The Giants could start off 1-0 this year.
I'm thinking 2-0 because next week we are going to also beat the Washington Commanders, who are the next up on the docket, also at the 1 p.m. Eastern game. They are going to Tampa Bay, and they are the underdogs at +3.5 in Tampa Bay with an over set at 43.5. This Commanders team is honestly one that I'm looking forward to watch. I'm actually really excited to watch this game. I think that this is kind of more of an exciting game than the Cowboys Browns, just
Yeah,
because there's a lot that we're going to learn week one. Like preseason doesn't show anything. Jaden Daniels could be rookie of the year, or he could collapse with a offensive line that I still think is questionable. I think one of the key players of this game is going to be Braden Coleman, who's their third round pick, I believe out of TCU, who's starting
hmm
at left tackle, even though he missed all the preseason dealing with injuries, but I guess he just looked so good in OTAs, looked so good in practice. He's the guy. So the Bucs don't have like elite pass rush, but I mean Yaya Diaby looked really good in his rookie season. I think that he's going to give them some struggles, and then they also have Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, who's been a little bit underwhelming, I'd say, throughout his first 3 years in the league. I don't think he's eclipsed like 6 sacks in a season, so like that's at least a little bit more favorable. But I'm very curious to see. I feel like getting rid of Jahan Dotson. I really like the Noah Brown pickup. I don't know about you, but I
I
think
do
that's
too.
very underrated.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yep.
I've heard good things about De'Ami Brown. Luke McCaffrey, I'm curious to see how he gets featured in this offense, what his role is. But I feel like it's going to be a Terry McLaurin year. I feel like Terry McLaurin is going to be like maybe, and I think Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler are going to be kind of safety valves for Jaden Daniels, but as we saw in college, when he gets pressured, he's not a scrambler who looks to pass. He's somebody who looks to run. So I'm curious to see if that's changed maybe with Cliff Kingsbury as his OC. It's an exciting team. And then defense too. Their defense is totally revamped. It's a
hmm
total new team. Yeah, Mikey Sanders still starting. Emmanuel Forbes finally won the starting CB2 role, despite being named as a backup at the beginning of the preseason. I'm kind of curious about Emmanuel Forbes because these Bucks receivers, like Chris Godwin, is still great. I think he's going to
Yep.
mostly be rolling out of the slot. So I'm curious to see how Mikey Sanders still covers him. But Emmanuel Forbes, they better not be putting him up against Mike Evans because then I feel like it's that same AJ Brown matchup. Like they said he put on 20 pounds of muscle, but he still looks like a twig to me. And then also even Jalen McMillan is supposedly really good.
Yeah.
Looking really good for the Bucks this year too. So, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this exciting new Commanders team, and what are you looking for in this matchup against the Bucs?
I would mention that I have Evans on a fantasy team, so it would be nice if he went off, of course.
Yeah.
Um, Interesting game from two teams that I think are intriguing in their own way. I think Tampa Bay is young and had a good year last year, looking to build on that. I think Washington is fully on a new path, and
Mhm.
it's their first year, and they'll have some struggles. But in the next few years, I think they'll be able to be competitive.
Yeah.
Um, Daniels, I mean, it's his first game. I know there'll be some nerves, but maybe he'll also just be able to like ball out. I think it's. Oh, you see that?
Lost the
I
pod
just
there. Yeah, dude.
I
Hey.
caught it on my shoulder. Um, I think it's a great game for both teams in its own like nerdy football way. Um,
Hmm.
I think Washington could win.
I
Ultimately, I think.
This is a statement game. I mean, not
Yeah,
like I mean, yeah, it's a statement game. This is a new regime. And I think that they have that to their advantage. Like, I know that Tampa Bay lost Dave Canales, so like
yeah,
we don't really know exactly what they're going to be running on offense, but like this Commanders team is totally new, and Dan Quinn playing positionless football with his defense too, like that. Their defense, talk about like just a weird cast for like they had all this cap space and they just got all these rentals with Bobby Wagner, with Dorrance. I mean, Dorrance Armstrong's not a rental; he's still young, but like
right.
Cleveland Farrell and Dante Fowler at edge, and who's that? Jeremy Chin too. Like they have all these weird hybrid players that I feel like they're going to be
Yeah,
moving around. I saw that they have Jamin Davis like working in at the edge, like on the depth chart. I think he's the backup edge right
interesting.
now. But I feel like he's going to move around, probably play a little bit of linebacker too. I think Frankie Louvu, he's going to have Frankie Louvu blitzing a lot as like one of the better blitzing off-ball linebackers in the league.
Yep,
I'm curious to see how this defense shakes out because they have a lot of fun pieces. Like Mikey Sanderson is fun. Johnny
yep,
Newton, I think, is still dealing with injury, but having him rotating in with Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, like that is
yep.
a fierce, deep front. So
Oh yeah.
and Johnny Newton, I think, is going to be kind of like a wrecking ball too. I'm
And
curious to see if they even put
he
him
fell in
off
the draft
on the edge.
too.
I know that was nuts,
Yeah,
man. I think they picked. I don't know exactly, but I think they picked Sanderson before they even picked Newton.
wild. If that's the
It's
case, that is
crazy.
wild. Um, yeah, I mean Washington. Listen, Washington. You have a guy like Terry McLaurin and a hungry new rookie quarterback who I think a lot of people think will be good throwing,
Yeah.
and someone who can also move with his legs. And Daniel, they could win. We've also seen. I mean, Sean, we've seen so many coaches come in with their new team, new system, year
Mhm.
one, and win their first game of the season. So yeah, I think it'll
It's
be. It's in Tampa Bay.
it's in Tampa Bay. Yeah.
It'll be a good game. I think we'll see. Two teams that probably are worthy of getting a win in their own way
Yeah.
because of where their rebuild. So yeah,
I mean, I think that the Bucks are looking at like if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm thinking you look at Commanders week 1 and you see a rookie quarterback, you're thinking this is also a must win, especially with the
yeah,
Falcons improving.
yeah,
Hopefully Bryce Young improves just for the sake of NFL fans everywhere if they have to watch a Panthers game, which I know that
oh,
we play the Panthers this year because we play the
yes,
NFC South. Um, but I I could see Jaden Daniels. I think that my biggest concern, like I said, is the O line,
yep,
and that's especially because the Bucks do have Kalijah Cansey too, who I think is really
yes,
exciting rushing the passer. Vita Vea is a behemoth in the center there.
yep,
Sam Cosmi obviously just got paid to a huge contract, rightfully so. He's one of the better guards in the league. But I'm curious to see how this O line holds up and how Jaden Daniels handles that pressure. I could see him. I feel like this is going to be a game where he's going to be running a lot because I don't know. I don't know about this O line. That's my biggest concern, and I think if the Commanders lose this game, it's because of the pressure allowed by this O line and Jaden Daniels not being able to flow in his first NFL game. Your
yeah.
thoughts?
Usually, early on you want to surround your guys with talent, and losing Curtis Samuel, I think, was a blow.
Mm-hmm.
Trading Jahan Dotson, it's I think a
Why?
blow.
Why,
Um,
dude? What?
I'll tell you what. If they, I guess they were never going to keep Curtis Samuel out of free agency. But
Yeah.
let's just imagine if he had one more year. This was his last year under contract, and they kept Dotson. Wow, I think I think
I'd feel
it
a lot
really.
better about the supporting
I think
cast. Yeah.
I think Washington would be. I think that would be the best for Daniels to really just go in there with all that talent. But of course, they don't have it. Um, I think he'll have to make up with a lot of that, maybe with his feet. So yeah, it's sort of. I think that Washington might also just struggle because of the state of the team and how young they are and how young they are. Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm also really excited about Ben Sinnott. He had some really
Yeah.
exciting plays in the preseason. I know Zach Ertz is like also coming over with Cliff Kingsbury essentially, um, as their old tight end. But I don't think Ben Sinnott's going to hit the ground running. I think he'll be featured maybe a little bit in this game because I think
Yeah.
that behind Terry McLaurin, like he is kind of like a fun receiving threat, but.
Hmm.
And I'm curious to see if they do a lot of two tight end looks too, because I know that they did that with Trey McBride and Zach Ertz in Arizona. But under Cliff Kingsbury, Trey McBride kind of struggled. And then obviously you had one of the best years last year, which I know very well about Trey McBride.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
but
going to take him. I was going to take him in fantasy, and I passed. And I think that was a
I'm
mistake.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I picked Dalton Kincaid over Trey McBride in fantasy, which is like, I just think Kincaid is going to be huge. And then Coral picked him right after me. Dude, Coral's fantasy teams are looking stacked.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Well,
But
listen, that maybe that person who chirped you on the YouTube video knew what he was talking about.
yeah, I know, dude. Hey, dude, listen, man. I needed to be told off there. No Trey McBride slander from here on out on this
That's
podcast.
right.
We are Trey McBride truthers.
Yes.
So yeah, the spread, honestly, I could see Washington winning this game, and because it's the start of the season, I want them to win. I want some false hope here. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do Washington plus 3.5. I think they can win this game, but I also think that the Bucs are just like, they're coming in with pretty much the same team. Obviously, down Dave Canales at OC, but essentially the same offense. A little bit actually revamped, I think, and their center is supposed to be a god who actually I golfed at the same golf course as him the same day that he got drafted. Graham Parton
Wow.
was just at the golf course with me, and then we went home. He gets drafted. I watched Malik get drafted. Regardless, I'm going Commanders plus 3.5. The over under is at 43.5, and honestly, I don't know. That's a really well placed over. I'm
Yeah.
leaning over. I want to see like an explosive game from the Commanders, and I also think that Emmanuel Forbes might get picked on by Baker Mayfield, and I think that we're going to see some good scoring by the Bucs. Jeremy,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to overhype Washington this early, which I think I might be doing. I
mm-hmm,
guess I'll say they'll cover. I think they'll lose by 3, but they'll
mm-hmm.
cover the 3.5 ultimately. Um, I think it goes over. I think it goes over. Even in a losing effort, I think Daniels pushes us over in a losing effort. Um, yeah, Tampa Bay 20. Tampa Bay 26, Washington 23. Sure.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. That's like those are like two weird scores. Like, how is that going to happen? But it's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay, right there. Exact score 26-23. I don't know. I could see that. And that's,
Well, I wanted to
I
give the
feel like
Bucks 7, but I need Washington to cover. So
that's fair. That is
yeah.
fair. I'm also curious to see the dynamic of Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson is listed as running back one. I think,
Yes.
he had a great year last year with a bad offenve line and kind of being
Yeah.
like,
He's done well in the NFL so far.
safety off. Yeah. And Austin Eckler, like, Eckler is going to be a good safety net too for Jaden Daniels. I know that he's a running quarterback, but that could be an interesting dynamic if he's getting pressure. Duck went out to Austin Eckler because they're anticipating the run from Jaden Daniels, and that could be some magic for this Cliff Kingsbury offense. So I don't know. I'm curious.
Eckler's also said coming in that he's not going to be. He knows this role. He's not going to be the number one running back. So, as a running back too for that team, play a role could be interesting.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting. It's not the sexiest backfield, but I think that it's one that isn't getting enough love because I think that actually like Austin Eckler, who is one of the best, regarded as one of the best backs in the league coming into last season,
Yeah.
and that epic fall off he played for the terrible burning dumpster fire of a Chargers team.
Yep.
So we'll see if he can resurge his career. You any more thoughts on the Commanders before we move on to America's team?
No, we can move on.
The Dallas Cowboys are underdogs in Cleveland with a spread of +2.5 and an over of 40.5, which is the lowest over under out of all of the games this week. And I think that's probably because what are the Cowboys other than CD Lamb, offensive weapon wise? I mean, and Jake Ferguson too. But like Brandon Cooks was, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think he had the most disappointing season of his career last year.
Yes.
And the grandpas Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not terrible.
I'm not kidding. That's the worst running back room I've ever seen.
Of all time, I think. Well, I don't know. The Giants had no. The Giants had some pretty bad ones with Paul Perkins and freaking Orleans Stark. Oh my god, dude! But it's pretty. It's like
that's bad.
It's parallel, dude.
That's a really bad. And Dak also isn't paid yet, so he's not really happy. And I kind of get. I get why Dallas isn't paying him because they don't want to give him 4 years. And they don't want to give them all that money. But in the NFL, you kind of have to pay your quarterbacks regardless. So, yeah.
I think Jerry Jones is looking at Shedeur Sanders, and he's like, I want to pay you, but I really want Deion's son. Or maybe even Quinn Ewers, Texas.
Maybe.
He does love his Texas players.
True.
But I don't know. I really do think that that's one of the reasons why Dak isn't getting paid right now is because, well, first off, he's in a command like a top 3 quarterback salary. I'm assuming, which is just going to be outrageous money. I know everybody was freaking about the Daniel Jones contract, and trust me, I'm not very happy that we have him locked in. But now that everybody else is getting paid around him, his contract is like mid-league. It's like 15th, and that's with all the rookie contracts and everything too. So like,
the only issue
got paid where he is.
The only issue with the Daniel Jones contract is that it's a lot of money for someone who just sucks.
Fair. Like, listen, dude, he really needs to prove it this year. And even then, even if he has a great year, it's like, even if he has an amazing year and it's like he's a top 10 quarterback again, like it's like, tough. But what is he going to be next year? It's like if we are in a position to move on from him in the draft, this is a Cowboy segment. But yeah,
I think going off of Dak. I think with Jerry Jones, I don't think he wants to pay him because I think he seen like who Dak is. Top 10, 12 quarterback, but not good enough to get over the hump, and also just collapses. And a lot of in some years doesn't play like a top 10 quarterback. So, yeah, it's not a. They play the Browns week 1, a team that's like really good too.
Really good. I mean, dude, defensively,
really good defense,
stout. Offensively, I know Deshaun Watson is a freaking perv, but the weapons over there are really nice, dude. Like, really nice. And the Cowboys are starting rookie, 3rd, 4th round pick, Kalen Carson with Duran Bland out 4 or 5 weeks with that stress fracture in his foot. And I know that he just changed his number to 21 in honor of Deion Sanders or whatever. And like, that's supposed to make him now a superstar. But I mean, who knows? The Cowboys have done this with Duran Bland. They did it with Trayvon Diggs. They turn these
X-Men up. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I mean Kalen Carson has looked really good in preseason. That's why he won that role over like Jordan Lewis or whoever. But also I thought that Demarion Overshone was going to be a starting linebacker, but I see that he's like kind of getting sprinkled in. I guess Maris Luafau won that role next to Eric Kendricks, and Eric Kendricks is a Zimmer guy. He was great with Zimmer. I know that he's like 31, but I mean I'm not too worried about Eric Kendricks. I'm curious to see Maris Luafau and Overshone and how that dynamic works. And they also have Damone Clark out of LSU, who I think is going to be more of a hawking linebacker. But
Yep.
I mean that I think what's going to determine this game is can CeeDee Lamb win this game offensively? Because I dude, like this Browns defense is I don't think a Cowboys running back is going to average over 4 yards a carry in this game. Like I don't. I don't
so
feel
either.
great about it. Also, I think one of the biggest storylines for the Cowboys this entire season is going to be Tyler Guyton, who we both kind of, were like he's a raw prospect starting him as left tackle. He's looked amazing in the preseason. Like, and it's not like he was going against scrubs. Like in the preseason, he was going up against Max Crosby, holding his own, one of the best pass rushers in the league. Obviously, going up against Micah Parsons in practice. So this Myles Garrett matchup is, I mean, this is a welcome to the league, Tyler Guyton. Like this,
Oh yeah.
And with all this hype, I don't care. Myles Garrett is the defensive player of the year every year, like one of the best in the league.
Yep.
And that's an interesting matchup. And also with their third round pick, Cooper Beebe, who's moving over to center, starting at center, that's also kind of, I'm curious on how that is going to play out. And they have a pretty tough matchup to set the tone for the season against these Browns. Any thoughts on that? How do you feel about my no Cowboys getting over 4 yards per carry?
I like it.
In this game? I don't think there's any.
They're going to have to throw the ball.
That, but
they're going to have to throw the ball. But if I'm the Browns, I'm doubling CD. I'll let anybody else beat me. I guess you have Ferguson too, yeah. But I think it could be a long game for the Cowboys offensively, just with that Browns defense and that scheme.
Yeah, I hate to be a Cowboy hater, but I'm taking the Browns in this game, man. I'm taking the Browns minus 2.5. I think that the Cowboys are going to be in this because I think the Cowboys are great over. Like they're going to be a good team regardless.
Well, they didn't get better. They didn't get better like the offseason.
No, they just got worse. They got worse, and like also, like you get Trayvon Diggs back, Deron Bland's gone. Like I said, Kalen Carson, dude, he's going to be going up against. I know Jerry Jeudy is washed. Or not washed, but he hasn't lived up to expectations. But like he did get a pretty good contract with the Browns, and I think that he's still a great receiver, a great route runner. If he's getting open, that's that. David Njoku is one of the most talented physical freaks of a tight end, and I think he's going to have a day if he's getting covered by those linebackers. I don't know, Overshone, like Damone Clark, whatever. Like I think that Njoku is going to eat. Like I'm trying to be optimistic here with this Cowboys defense, but like, and then you even have Elijah Moore and Cedric Tillman as like their like sleeper wide receivers that I think could also have a day. And then Amari Cooper revenge game. Yeah, I think Amari Cooper is going to have a good game. Against Trayvon Diggs. We'll see how he is coming back off this injury too. Like I know he's a ball hawk, but he always struggled a little bit in coverage. Kind of regained that 2 years ago, missed all of last season. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'm taking the Browns, man. I'm taking the Browns, and I'm taking a minus 2.5, dude.
I am shattering Browns 2.5. Just
yeah.
In
Cleveland, in the dog pound too.
Yep. Give Cleveland something to root for. What's the over under?
40.5.
Over.
I'm almost. You thinking over?
Yeah. I think Dallas. I think Dallas can score late a little bit.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, I'll go. Browns 28. Cowboys
21.
17.
17. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. That hits that over. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Cowboys are they're gonna put up a fight. They're not gonna get dog walked by the dog pound. But
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't love this. I think the keys to the Cowboys winning this game though is, you know, making Deshaun Watson look like a terrible quarterback and owning that because he has weapons. I don't care if like you think Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson fell off. Like the Browns have offensive weapons. Obviously Nick Chubb's gone, but like Jerome Ford, I really like coming in there too. So I don't know.
And
Yeah.
even like if you're Deshaun Watson, like it's now or never. Like you have to stand up eventually and like start playing well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Cowboys on the year also at 10.5. What are you thinking? Over under?
Oh, I'll go under 10.
I feel like they're going to be a 10-win team. I think, dude.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely a 10-win team, but I see them at 10.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not
I
I'm
think
not going to go
Vegas.
through the whole schedule here, but
Yeah.
I think Vegas does know something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means season long, you're thinking that the Eagles continue the trend of a new team winning the division. You see the
I
Eagles
think
winning
so.
the division,
Yes.
of course. Yeah, as you should, as an Eagles fan, and just
Well, they should have,
the facts. Yeah,
and they should have broken it last year if they didn't collapse in epic proportion like they did.
yeah. I mean, I think too in this division, like everybody's penciling the Giants as being the worst team in the division. I get it. Like the Commanders are this wild card. You don't know what they are yet, and
Right.
they could be amazing or they could like, dude. I mean, you're relying on a lot of you know ifs and buts with
Yep.
this Commanders team. A lot of exciting pieces, but like this is rookie year. Rookie year for Jaden Daniels. You got a rookie protecting him at the left tackle like that. I don't care if you look good in preseason. If you're a third round pick, like starting left tackle, it's
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I would definitely be concerned there. But I don't know. I'm just saying everybody's shitting on the Giants. That's why I'm happy to be here representing the Giants for the NFC East podcast. Because listen, I might have gotten over my skis last year thinking Darren Waller, and then we got destroyed. But I think this Giants team is a lot better than a lot of people are giving credit for. So yeah. But I'm gonna go under on it. I think Cowboys sit right at 10 wins. I'm seeing right at 10.
I agree.
Is that what you're thinking too? 10-7.
Yep. They just miss.
Right.
They go under on wins. Yep.
All right. Here, let me. So I'm gonna pull up a. Are we good on the Cowboys? Any more notes you want to get into before we do this?
No, let's
do this
do it.
fantasy draft. All right. I just want to pull up a little thing that way we can keep track of all the players here. All right. So we're gonna do like best ball format. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna pick. So that means like we're no more than 2 quarterbacks, okay? So like you can't hoard all the quarterbacks here. But if you want to go
Yes.
quarterback first pick, be my guest. But we're going to do best ball format. This is for the year round. We're going to play. I think we maybe do. You want to do 2 running backs or 1 running back to start for the scoring? 2 running backs.
I think.
Yeah, let's do standard. Yeah, 2 running backs. 2 wide receivers, tight end, flex. We're not going to do defense. We're not going to do kicker, and a quarterback. So you want to Rochambeau for this little fantasy draft here?
Should I start?
Keep track of this. Yeah, you want to do this? You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. All right. No, you had rock. You totally had rock. Did you glitch there?
We can redo it. But I had scissor, but I saw the camera that it wasn't in the screen, so we can redo it. Fair enough.
Okay. Keep that fist in screen, dude.
It'll be up.
Rock?
It'll be up.
Okay, ready? Rock,
Yes.
paper, scissors, shoe. Okay, you know what? You take the first pick. You go.
Okay. So how does this go? I take the first pick and then.
So it'll be snake. So I'll get 2 picks in a row.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Or can I decide? Can I decide if I want the second pick, or should I just take the first?
Hey, no. If you want the second pick, dude, by all means, do the second pick. I'm writing down these teams here.
Yeah. Ah.
You want the second pick?
No, I'll go first pick.
Who are you going?
So this is a strategic pick because there's just nobody else at this position group in the division. Saquon Barkley.
I fucking knew it, dude. I knew it, and honestly, I was going to do the same thing if I got pick one.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Well, that means I get 2 picks in a row, and like now I don't have to go for running back because it's just
Yes.
fucking barrel. But this is I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb
Yes.
and AJ Brown.
Oh, that's tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
That means
idea.
you get 2 picks.
I get 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
Okay. I'll go Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin.
Dude, I was just about to trade you AJ Brown for Malik Neighbors, so thank you for not taking him. Oh yeah, baby. I'm going Malik Neighbors, and also I think just the best tight end in this, Jake Ferguson, just to hold down that position.
Okay. I will take the second best running back, I guess.
Damn it.
Brian Robinson.
Okay.
And I will take. You took Neighbors, okay. I will take Jahan Dotson.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of need a running back here, so it's maybe should have went for Brian Robinson. All right, I'm going to do Devin Singletary.
Okay.
Dude, I want Tyrone Tracy over any of the Cowboys. You know, I'm going Tyrone Tracy. I'm going Tyrone Tracy. Maybe a little early. Tyrone Tracy, you heard it here first. By the end of the year, he's going to be an RB top 10 running back.
There you go.
Oh, man, this is rough.
How many more picks do I have?
I mean, dude, I think we're just going to try to fill out the roster. I mean, you still need a tight end. Neither of us went quarterback yet.
I see. All right.
And you can go 2 quarterbacks, but you can't hog all the quarterbacks, you know.
I'll take Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take Brandon Cooks.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to go oh man, this is freaking tough, dude. Oh man. I'm going to go Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle, and I'm going to go Austin Eckler just to kind of shore up this running back room that I kind of deferred to the end there.
I'll go Dallas Goedert, and I'll go Jalen Hurts.
Okay, I like that. Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hyatt. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Wan'Dale Robinson because I think he is going to actually be. And by the way, are we doing a half point PPR or full point?
I would say half, but I am open if you have a different idea.
I think we should do full point. Full point?
Really?
Dude, I don't know why. All my drafts this year are full point. I always do half point, but it's like whatever. Yeah. Let's do full point. The scoring's a little bit.
The only issue with full point is that it's kind of punishing for other players.
That's fair. You know what? We'll do half point. We'll do half point.
Okay.
Let's be safe here. All right, so I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson, and I'm going. I go. Oh man,
Take him.
Jalen Hurts.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
I already took him.
Wait, no, I thought you did Jalen Hyatt.
No. I took Hurts.
When did you take Hurts?
Goddard and then Hurts.
Oh, so you did Jalen Hurts, not Jalen Hyatt.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Hyatt.
Okay, fair. I thought we'll check the tape, but I think he said Hyatt.
That's right.
That's fine. You know what? I didn't even want him, dude. I wanted Jaden Daniels anyways, so Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
All right.
In that case, my backup quarterback will be Dak.
Okay.
And jeez. I will take Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton, damn it. That's freaking good. All right.
I'll love that to you.
That just autocorrected to various Clayton, but I think I can figure that out. Okay, we got I'm gonna do Ben Sinnott as a sleeper.
Yes,
tight
I
end.
like that pick.
You like that pick because you think it was a shitty pick, or you like that pick because you think it's a good pick?
I was gonna take him, and then I decided to go for Slayton.
All right, so I'm gonna go Ben Sinnott, and I'm gonna do. You already did Jahan Dotson, and I'm gonna go Noah Brown. I think Noah Brown's gonna be the wide receiver 2 for Washington come the end of the year.
Okay. Okay. I will take your boy.
Which boy?
Daniel Bellinger.
Okay.
And I will take Kenny Gainwell.
Oh, okay. If Saquon goes down, he's going to be the primary back?
Immediately, yes. Long term, we'll see. We'll see if they.
You think Shipley? Yeah.
Yeah. Or someone
All
else
right.
completely.
Okay, let me just. All right, well, I'm just going to go Daniel Jones and Jalen Hyatt. Hyatt there, which you didn't pick because you picked Jalen Hurts. Okay,
I'll take Hurts over Hyatt.
We'll check the tape.
That's
probably a good pick. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's see how many I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you have 13. So I think let's just do 2 picks each left. I have 14. You have 14. So yeah.
2 picks left. Position players.
Yeah, we're not going to do defense or kicker. So
now, can I take
our bench?
Can I be a dick and take Daniel Jones here?
No, I already took Daniel Jones.
Oh, you did? You have a backup? Okay.
Yeah. You can take Drew
Lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Is Cooks gone?
Yeah, you already took Brandon Cooks, yeah.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we only have 2 picks left in us.
Yes. Washington has Olamide Zaccheaus as our wide receiver 2?
Yeah.
I'll take him, I guess.
All right, okay. What a weird. I know. I thought that was weird too, man.
Yes, that's interesting.
You need Jahan Dotson when you have Olamide Zaccheaus.
Good point.
All right, you got one more pick, and I think that rounds it up.
And I'll take ay, ay, ay. Okay. Um oh Jesus. Um Diamond Brown, is he still available?
He's still available.
I will take him.
Rowdy, that's a good pick. All right, I just have one pick to close out the draft, and I'm gonna go Theo Johnson to close it out. And we'll put up, rather than read this and waste your, we'll put up a graphic of the team.
Yes, very good.
And we'll do best ball here. But I think that's an episode. Week 1 is freaking here, man, and I am so excited. Jeremy, anything you want to say to our lovely viewers about liking and subscribing?
Should we close it out and do wins losses for each team, like really quickly?
Wins like for through the
like
actual schedule.
Go through each schedule.
No, I'm kind of low on time here. I'm kind of rushing, but we could do we do have these over unders. So
yes,
we have I have the Giants winning week 1, and I have the Giants over 6.5. I have the Commanders winning week 1, and I have them under 6.5.
Okay.
I have the Cowboys losing week 1, and I have them under 10.
You have Washington winning week 1, but under 6.5 wins on the season.
Yeah, well, then they lose both the games of the Giants. And I have the I don't know, man. I don't
All
know.
right, fair enough.
And I have the Eagles over 10.5 wins, and I have them winning week 1. Jeremy,
very good.
You want to go through your wins?
Yeah, I have Giants are actually going to win. I say they'll go over. I think they win 7 at least. Yeah, 7-10 looks good. Washington loses. And yeah, I guess they're under. I guess they're around 6 wins.
Yeah.
Eagles over, but I also have them. I don't have them beating the Bucs. But again,
yeah. Fair.
Eagles over 10. They beat 10.5. They beat Packers. Dallas under 10.5, and they lose to the Browns.
All right. Well, that's an episode. If you made it this far, thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming here for all your NFC East news. We are the Beasts of the NFC East. Like and subscribe. Tell us how wrong we are. Tell us how right we are. Tell us how stupid my Trey McBride takes are. Just comment some stuff down there, All right. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much.
Sean, it has been a pleasure, as always.
Next week, we'll be talking about how the Giants smoked the Vikings week 1.
Well, we'll see. We will see.
All right. See you later, guys. Peace.